What kind of people are people like Harry Styles? However, it is not the reason we are here. At the 65th Grammy Awards, Harry Styles' turntable plinth went the wrong way, forcing him to do his whole dance routine backwards without notice. Harry Styles thanked his translator in sign language after winning Album of the Year, which was a sweet and inclusive gesture, but it's not the reason he's so popular. Harry Styles appeared in a Harlequin jumpsuit before changing into a human fireworks costume. There is something immensely sardonic about being at the world's largest music awards ceremony, which features American pomp and pageantry at its most glorious, shining peak, with a look that mimics a sardonic remark. However, I will not guess on the size of his wig here. We're here because, after his acceptance speech for Album of the Year, Styles said, "This doesn't happen to people like me very frequently," to which the internet responded with a resounding "come again." People find it difficult to believe that someone with Harry Styles' appearance, any homogeneous white man, especially one who is so conventionally attractive, has the audacity to publicly signal a lack of privilege beyond the value of his face. This is not to say that the successful, wealthy, yacht-summering, Grammy Award-winning singer and part-time Hollywood actor has struggled. Styles doesn't always imply his narrative is one of rags to riches, so don't bring out the violins when he says people like me. He is probably referring to the son of divorced lower-middle-class English farmers. These conflicts are real. The seemingly unimportant remark only touches the surface of a more fundamental problem. There are numerous ruling elites on this earth, some of which you can see and others of which you cannot. The majority of us are conscious of how much we depart from the stereotype of the cis, white, straight, male. Everyone is trying to figure out where they sit in the social and economic hierarchy, taking into account how they are seen, what they have been given, what they have inherited, and what they have truly worked for. Styles' privilege feels inborn since he was born white. Holy hell, his privilege is inborn. And given the widespread institutional repression of people who aren't like him, who aren't given the opportunity, his discussion about the battle for guys like him can come across as flippant. It's getting more difficult to discuss white male privilege, and the ways in which it might be addressed, as well as intersectional privilege, which is the idea that some privileges outweigh others. Just saying this aloud causes discomfort. It reminds me of Sam Smith sobbing on their mansion porch during the pandemic, and the widespread belief that having money doesn't always give you the right to feel unhappy. Have you ever noticed how immoral, nefarious, and ruthless wealthy people need to be for us to tolerate them on television? We perceive other people's privileges, typically the ones we don't have, and find it unbearable to consider that they may still be struggling or that the ground beneath their exalted position may not be entirely level. We must assume that their accomplishments are the result of extraordinary hand dealt to them at birth, that we'd achieve similar things with similar privileges, that they should count their blessings and shut up. In 2010, a 16-year-old Harry Styles skipped class and stepped into an X Factor audition despite all the Nepo baby rhetoric, discussion of advantages, and familial privilege. There is undoubtedly inherent white, male privilege at work, but there are other factors at play as well, such as being a pop star's child, the nephew of a music executive, or wealthy enough to intern at a record firm. Styles was a nobody 13 years ago. At the Grammy Awards on Sunday, Styles won Album of the Year. There isn't a clear lesson to be learned from the trip between the two. I'm not sure how to wrap this up. You won't be shocked to learn that sometimes the internet isn't the best setting for a complex discussion on how one explicit and existing privilege doesn't negate everything else. It is actually impossible to spaghetti the plate and separate its individual strands. Privilege fluctuates from person to person and family to family. It is not a fixed position. Because Harry's tale goes beyond his perks, some of you may nod in agreement as you read this, others will find it hard to understand that I am speaking out in support of such an undeniably accomplished white man with so many chances. In either case, the debate about privilege won't end anytime soon. See you in the following round.